Welcome back to the deep dive. We've all been there, right? You walk into a meeting room, you're ready to present your big projects.
And complete presentation panic sets in.
Right. You've got your brand new USB-C laptop, and the room just has this thick, dusty VGA cable waiting for you on the table. Or you try to connect and just get a black screen. It's the worst.
The dreaded interface gap. I mean, it happens everywhere.
Yeah, so today we are exploring a box that actually solves this. We are unpacking the specs for the Kramer VP-426C. And the mission of this deep dive is really to figure out how this specific piece of hardware acts as a sort of a bridge between those old legacy machines and cutting-edge 4K displays.
Because on the surface, it's marketed as an 18G 4K HDMI and USB-C video scaler. But if you dig into the sources, the real story is how it manages the collision between analog tech and modern digital standards. It's a translator.
Totally. And looking at the back panel, that bridge is obvious. You see this triple thread of inputs. You've got your standard HDMI, of course. Then the modern USB-C, which the specs specifically point out, supports DP alternate mode.
Yeah, and that DP alt mode is crucial. It basically lets the USB-C port act as a native video output. So you aren't messing with software or drivers on the laptop side. It is truly plug and play.
Which is rare these days. But right next to that shiny new port is a 15-pin VGA connector, which honestly looks almost anachronistic sitting there.
It does feel like a blast from the past, but it's purely pragmatic. In government, enterprise, or education spaces, VGA just refuses to die. And the engineering challenge here is that VGA is an analog signal. It's usually noisy and low resolution.
So if you just jam that directly into a modern 4K TV...
It looks awful.
Right, so it needs that translator. And that is where the scaler part of the name comes in, right? It's not just a basic switch.
Exactly. It's an image processor. It takes that analog VGA signal, or even a low-res HDMI signal, and forces it up to a unified output resolution. It scales it up to 4K at 60 Hz and a 4.4.4 color space. So it gives the display exactly what it wants, regardless of the junk you plug into it.
Let's talk about the fidelity there. Because the model name highlights 18G. That refers to the 18 gigabits per second data rate. Why does a scaler need that massive kind of headroom if it's dealing with old VGA sources?
It's for the other side of the equation. If someone plugs a high-end workstation in via USB-C, you cannot let this scaler become the bottleneck.
So it supports HDR10 and HDCP 2.2, meaning the crisp text stays crisp.
Precisely. It accommodates the legacy gear without punishing the modern gear. A lot of cheaper scalers will just compress everything to save processing power, which totally defeats the purpose of having a beautiful 4K screen.
Okay, so let's shift to the smart features, because this is where it gets really practical for you as a user. I found the constant sync feature to be super interesting.
Oh, integrators absolutely love constant sync.
Because usually the second you unplug a laptop, the screen drops. It goes blue or says no signal and starts frantically searching.
Yeah, and that search cycle can take 10 seconds to lock back on. It's a huge workflow disruption. Constant sync keeps the output signal active and locked to the display even when the input is disconnected.
So the TV literally never knows the laptop disconnected, it just waits?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You plug the next laptop in and boom, the video appears instantly. No bouncing logo, no searching for inputs.
And the audio handling is surprisingly deep for a box this size too. The notes mention both embedding and de-embedding.
Right, so de-embedding is great if you want to pull the audio from an HDMI feed and route it to a room's PA system using balanced analog stereo cables.
Or vice versa, right. You can take analog audio from a separate mic and embed it right into the HDMI video feed.
Total routing control. And typically, all the switching happens automatically. The input auto-switching feature just scans for whichever port has an active signal and jumps to it without anyone pushing a button.
Which makes perfect sense given its physical design. It's a Mega Tools enclosure. Fanless, aluminum, very compact. It feels built to be hidden away.
It usually is. It gets rack-mounted or Velcroed under a conference table out of sight.
But if it's stuck under a table, you clearly aren't pressing the on-screen display buttons on the front to control it.
True. Which brings us to the contact closure switches. This is a massive Pro integrator feature. It allows you to wire simple physical buttons, like a wall keypad, directly to the unit.
So the end user just presses a button labeled PC on the wall, and the Kramer unit does all the complex heavy lifting up in the ceiling?
Exactly. It hides the complexity entirely.
So fundamentally, the VP-426C is the ultimate peacekeeper. It forces completely incompatible generations of tech to play nice.
It removes the friction. It allows a 1990 signal and a 2025 signal to live on the exact same screen seamlessly.
It does raise a fascinating question about longevity for you to think about, though. We keep hearing that USB-C is the one cable to rule them all. As we move deeper into that era, will devices like this eventually become obsolete? Or will the sheer stubborn persistence of legacy tech make these scalers a permanent fixture in our digital lives?
It's the ultimate AV paradox.
A zombie tech survival theory for you to chew on before you toss out your old VGA cables. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.